are. You know, with a name like AnAkA, the great thing about it is you're not pigeonholed into any one type of sound. And if you really listen to our records, you know, from Down Devil's Road all the way through to the Oblivion Call, you know, 6 records now. We have a legacy and a history of some, you know, some powerful music. There's no definition to the name. You know, it doesn't pigeonhole you into any style of music. And the idea for us has always been, yeah, we're an intense, heavy, you know, we have an intense, heavy, empowering, uncompromising sound, but there's also an acoustic record, you know, Into the Great Unknown. There's stuff that goes from literal death metal to bluegrass to blues and stuff like that. And it's really being, the idea is being able to do all things well as a musician. Because really, man, we do. From, you know, Jimmy, my brother, our vocalist, Jimmy Pallis, Matt, Renee, you know, Jordan Bernaccia, our drummer, Jerry Farley, who is our longtime producer, you know, and has worked with us from the first record, actually recorded bass on this album, the Oblivion Call, and Jeff Hines, who's helping us on, you know, Bass Now Live. Man, it's always been about being able to do all things as a musician, really, because how much we love music and we honor it, you know. So the AAA, I guess, in it is just a defining part. You know, that's that kick-ass, you know, band, AnAkA, you know, because it's really great in that way. It doesn't pigeonhole you. The name doesn't tell people what we are. You know what I mean? So there is, I guess, a piece to it where it does define us as us, but yeah, it just kind of looks awesome. You know what I mean? It
does, and I understand what you mean about trying not to just have your name identity already have you pigeonholed. Because, for example, if you put the word warrior in your band name, everybody knows to expect you to play power metal and wear loincloths or something. So
yeah.
You gave me a couple of good segues there. And, you know, one of the things I wanted to mention and ask you about is, so my exposure to you guys came with your most recent album, which is the Oblivion Call, and that's fresh this year. It was part of the pipeline of, you know, potential radio play stuff that some of the marketing agencies give us. And I caught on to liking it pretty quickly. So I decided, okay, I'm going to check in and see what other albums these guys have done. And I sort of made the mistake of making my own knowledge or absence of knowledge a substitute for information, because I thought, okay, I've never heard of them before. They're probably brand new. And so I went to Spotify and I saw that you did have, you know, like 5 or 6 albums. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So I dug into the first one, which is Down Dust Road. And that was originally released
Down Devil's Road.
Down Devil's Road. Okay.
Down Devil's Road.
Typo on my part there. But that originally came out in 2001.
Yeah.
Okay.
2001, man. We're going on 24 years strong here.
We're not going to count years, because that would be bad news for me too. But I was listening to it and I was like, okay, I can't, you know, is it power metal? No, it's not prog. It's just the best thing I can say is it's just metal, if that makes sense. And the word that came to mind to me was rowdy. I really liked the rowdy sense to some of the songs I was hearing, that it was good music for people that, you know, if you're at a concert, for people that want to get rowdy, you know, not necessarily violent, but just, you know, just really enjoying it, jumping up and down and doing all that stuff. So does that, you know, when you guys are on stage, does that come through, and is that a reasonable assessment of what you guys think about your sound?
Yeah, we're absolutely a live band. So what you're hearing there is really what our, you know, live strength as a band is. You're literally hearing how we sound live, because, I mean, we play all the songs live. We're one of those bands that if it's recorded, it's something that we play live. And it's really like, we're such music fans that a lot of our records is like, as we're going through and writing them, we're literally playing new songs all the time. So it's just the idea that the band is an intense band. There is a rowdiness to the vibe, and that vibe that you're talking about is so real that it keeps people coming back. It you know, we call it the AnAkA Army. We have a very loyal, you know, mass of fans, really worldwide. Our stuff, from, you know, Rust and Jade on, the second record, Glorified Crusade, Into the Great Unknown, our stuff, you know, really did well early on radio, and picked up steam to the point where, like, Music Choice was playing the music videos on television. You know, we were charting on FM, you know, metal radio with all our releases. So it's been, music for us has really been a gift, but, you know, it's all due to the chemistry that we have as a band, you know, and the work that we've put in for those 24 years. Like, we're proud of that. Mm-hmm. It's not like the years to us are just, you know, a stamp of how much road mileage you got behind you and how much you're pushing forward. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there definitely is an absolute live feel to every one of the songs. And I will tell you, that's not even on purpose. That's just who we are as a band, because we are such an extremely live band that it literally shows on the record.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to listen to. Do you sense that there's kind of an evolution from your earlier albums to the most recent one, or is it kind of all in the same zone? Like, would somebody be able to pull out one of your records and sort of think, okay, this is probably one of their earlier ones and this one might be more recent because of a comparison, or are you guys just always in that zone the same way?
It's a good question, because I think that when you listen to them, I know that you did your homework here and you went back and you listened, and you actually clearly hear the evolution of the band. And we actually did a different thing than other people do. They, you know, kind of start, you know, in a more rock and, you know, they start heavy metal bands. And as they age, they get, you know, I wouldn't say tamer, but their sound changes. It might not be as aggressive as they go forward. For us, it's been really an evolution and just the never pushing a song into any type of direction. So if you go back and you listen to Down Devil's Road, you really hear a heavy metal record, mm-hmm. a hard rock heavy metal record with a lot to say musically that grooves, you know, in just the guitars and the drums and the sound of the band, and lyrically, you know, just very deep into kind of like the potential of the human condition and the empowerment of just the human spirit. As we move forward, the band does get more aggressive and it evolves into a more intense form. But again, very naturally. This is not something that was thought of, or, you know, one thing we never ever do is kind of hammer songs into place. We never say this song has to be heavier or whatever. It's just been the steps forward and the actual evolution of AnAkA that's got us to a place right now where we're basically a thrash metal band with a lot of soul and a lot of spirit. But the really cool thing is it still maintains the AnAkA groove that you get up through those early albums. You know what I mean? That's like a important thing to us. Like, you can tell when you know, throw on a track that it's AnAkA. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there definitely has been an evolution, and it's something that we've that we're like happy in a sense that it's happened, because it does show that the band naturally doesn't want to sit in one place and kind of just do that same thing. You know, it's like you find success in a sound. I mean, if you go back and you go to the Glorified Crusade record, right, and you listen to the song Erase, that song literally changed, you know, our lives as a band. Mm-hmm. That song went to number one back in 2010 when it was released. Nice. On MTV Online. It went to number one on MTV Online, beating out everybody. You know, and it was incredible to see that happen. But at the same time, we don't generally just stick to what Erase sounded like, right?
Right.
It's still there. It's still there in the sounds. Like, if you listen to The Other Side of Nowhere, or if you listen to that of Autumn off of the new record, it's still there, but it has evolved, and it is the most up-to-date version of what we do musically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's pure. It's really pure, and that's like the most powerful part of that.
You mentioned at the beginning when you were kind of going through the roster of the current band members, right? This is sort of a family endeavor, right? Because you, Peter, and your brother Jimmy are both in the band. Are you guys, do you make the songwriting team? Do all the people in the band contribute?
So, I mean, through our history, I originated the band. I started it early on as a three-piece, and then, of course, added my brother because it would be the only person I ever wanted to add. It's the only band I've ever been in and the only band I've ever started. So a lot of the stuff that we do originates from me, writing-wise, but that's not to say that we don't have songs that, you know, we put together as a band. I write a lot of the riffs, I write a lot of the songs, a lot of the lyrics, but as we've moved forward, man, the other people are doing amazing stuff, and the idea is great. It gets added in. And he's doing, you know, a lot of, you know, he helps me along with some of the lyrics he wants to write. If you listen to the Oblivion Call, you know, he's got a song where he's written all the lyrics in the song, you know, Long Way Down. You know, the last couple of songs like Into the Fray and Beyond the Nexus, Matter, guitar player, had a lot to do with bringing those songs forward. And, you know, it's awesome after all this time to have people that, you know, trust you with what you've always done in the band and understand what the sound is, but also are able to get involved and add to it. You know what I mean? It's like Matt's putting it together. Still an AnAkA song, and that's just so empowering. You know what I mean? To sit down with him and be like, wow, man, this is really great, and the world has to hear it, you know? But it's been that way. It's been that way. Like there'll be times that we'll be in the studio and literally write a whole song. You know, if you listen to All I've Known off of the Rust and Jade record, that was a jam, and it became a song. Like literally, like the recorded demo that we did when we started jamming, it was basically the entire song. So again, it just goes back to the celebration of music for all of us, and knowing that it'll be okay because it's coming out of us. You know what I mean? That it will be great because it is AnAkA creating. You know what I mean?
Right.
The studio is an awesome place for that, man. Like I always say that, you know, a lot of people are afraid of that red light, and we've always like reveled in it in a way. It's always like, you know, let me see if I can knock this out in the first try. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, if you listen to the Doomsday Divide solo, that was one take that I did, you know, one shot. And it was really awesome because through it, as it was happening, I knew it. You know what I mean? So it's chasing greatness in a way. You're just like your best self. You're just kind of chasing that when the red light is on. So I really do think that that's why our music is so powerful, and how many people can really just connect to it because, you know, it's real, you know?
And I would imagine that, you know, there is a benefit to this being a project that you and your brother are in together, because that probably makes you guys a little bit more in tune with each other from the get-go. So you kind of anticipate each other's musical wants, for example, or musical strengths and what they work the best with, as opposed to having to relearn somebody else from the ground up.
Yeah, it's based on trust and understanding, and just, you know, always being there for each other, you know, even when we're kids, man, you know, all of that is born into it. And if you're around the band, and, you know, even with Jordan, Matt, and the other guys, it's like you can, we always talk about the brotherhood of it, you know what I mean? And that it is a family place where everybody, you know, there's a place for each of the guys to be who they are. You know, we don't try to alter people into getting involved. Like, they understand the value of what they're involved in, and, you know, they care for it, and that's a big part of what we do moving forward. I mean, to have started a band, you know, in Brooklyn, New York, when everybody told you, you know, you're wasting your time, what are you doing? And then, you know, all these years later, I mean, we've shared the stage with Zakk Wylde. We've played with Foreign, Avenged Sevenfold, Trivium. I mean, you know, some of our thrash roots, Diamond Head, you know what I'm saying? It's incredible that we've been able to do that. But it's not something that me and Jimmy or the guys ever saw as an impossibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we knew that if we put our heads together, that, and, you know, we would get somewhere awesome with it, you know? And, you know, we have one of our sayings, zero shortcuts, man, you know? Always do the hard thing. And it is true what they say of, you know, do the hard things and there is reward that comes with it, you know?
Right. I'm glad you mentioned Brooklyn too, because that was one thing that I had noted that we haven't talked about yet. And that, you know, that you guys are rooted in the New York area. So when you were getting going, was that a help or a hindrance? Like, was the music scene there so large and crowded that it was kind of hard to get rolling, or was it a little easier because you were already in an area that had the potential for a good fan base?
There was the potential for a fan base, but at the same time, a lot of like the historic places were starting to close out, right? Mm-hmm. So we played at the historic L'Amour's. We played at CBGB's. We played at the Continental. In fact, like the Continental is a place where I would say that we really understood how to become AnAkA, how to just kind of figure out this live thing and what we do. So we have this like kind of historic sense of the places that we were able to play at, and it's really awesome. So we saw those places that, you know, everybody talked about. You know what I mean? Even during the 80s and the 90s, we played them. You know, in the late 2000s, or I'm sorry, in the early 2000s. But we just know there was more places to go in the evolution of the scene because things were changing. And what we've always done is we've always been innovative with that. We know change is coming, you know, and we figure, you know, lock down, figure out what we have to do and just kind of move forward. Mm-hmm. We don't pay too much attention to what you know, other people are doing, even during shows, man. It's always about, people will ask me, well, who else are you guys playing with? And I was like, well, I know that I'm playing. Because it really is that type of focus. It's mm-hmm. It's almost like a team. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a football team in the way we look at this stuff. It's just about, you know, if we do the work and if we follow the precedent that we've set and the standard that we've set, if we keep trying to grow that, then everything else will fall into place. And it really, really has, man. You know. So again, it's really just about, you know, keeping your head down and pushing forward. And there's really no celebration to it. Celebration, I think, will come after. It's just about doing the work, man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
And so the station I'm at, the city I live in, is about an hour east of Chicago. So we aren't quite in the big metropolitan area, but Chicago is where I go for the vast majority of my shows that I go see. And so I end up seeing this, you know, there's some bands, I have friends in the bands and I see them a lot because they get on bills and things like that. But we don't necessarily see them sort of, you know, very often outside of the Chicago area. So what is like your roaming area? Do you guys get out into Pennsylvania, up into New England, or are you mostly kind of rooted in New York itself?
You know what? We're rooted mainly in New York, but we're open to moving and going place. There's no, I guess, destination that we won't go if it's going to be successful. We've really set a standard in our hometown, and we have such a massive fan base that it's just a great place to play. But there are no limitations. Like earlier, we were talking to I was talking to Jimmy because I just did Jimmy and I just did a interview with Metal Hammer Greece, and you know my parents were born and raised in Greece, and we did a really awesome interview with Metal Hammer magazine in Greece, and it was one of the things we talked about is getting out there and playing. So there really are no limits. You know what I mean? It's something that we look forward to. It's challenging, and it's really great. But you know what's really awesome about the fact that you brought up Chicago is, here's a really awesome fact. Me and Jimmy are absolute Michael Jordan fans since we were kids. Absolute, you know. You'll see Air Jordans on the stage. And it's really, I will tell you that a big part of what we learned from Michael is literally in this band, the work ethic and all of that. But yeah, definitely Chicago means something to us because we grew up watching him. And, you know, for us, music, the inspirations we gained through music, you know, I mentioned Zach before, Black Sabbath, you know, Metallica, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Pantera, all that stuff. But there are also people, human beings, that did great things, like Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, I'll mention, and other people that really, you know, lit the fire in us. I will tell you that I know that you're in Indiana, aren't you?
Yes, Northwest Indiana.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ultimate Warrior from WWE, one of my great friends and mentors is from there. He was, you know, born and raised there. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. Went to school with Larry Bird, actually.
Oh, all right.
Same college. You know, he went to college. So yeah, we did his theme music back in 2008, and that was an amazing thing. Warrior has, you know, passed since. But man, you know, what an amazing person who's inspired, you know, millions of people. He's from, you know, the great state of Indiana over there, man. So it's like, you mentioned Chicago. I had to bring that stuff up.
Well, and now you've totally derailed the conversation, because now I have to ask you about wrestling. Did you watch WrestleMania? And what do you think about Cody Rhodes winning the title?
I did watch it. I will say that I was a huge fan when I was a kid, and I mentioned Warrior. Warrior was my childhood hero. You know, alongside with the Michael Jordan posters all over my room, there was Ultimate Warrior posters. You know what I mean? And I saw him body slam Andre the Giant when I was a little kid in Madison Square Garden. You know, I saw him wrestle The Undertaker in Madison Square Garden. So, you know, I saw him wrestle, you know, the Macho Man, probably my second favorite guy, right?
Yeah.
What did I think of it? I think that they got some steam. They're doing pretty well. I'm a Rock guy. I'm not a Cody Rhodes guy. But I really liked what I saw in terms of talking about innovation, how Rock was able to kind of flip what he was there to do.
Definitely.
Listening to the crowd and understanding which way to go as an entertainer is a virtue. It's actually like very important that you're able to do that.
Right.
So it was inspiring watching him. I thought he was awesome. You know?
And I won't ask your age, but I'll tell you, like, I'm 57. And so being a fan of metal and also wrestling, I have two of the great conversation killers for if somebody asks, well, what music do you listen to? I say heavy metal, and they kind of go, oh, and then what do you like to watch on TV? Professional wrestling. Oh, and
that's great.
But
that's us both, man. I was gone for a long time because, you know, Warrior did have many issues with them, both, you know, lawsuits and stuff like that, dealing with them. So I was gone from it for a long time. I loved it when I was a kid. When he would go into his battles with the boss, I would, just because he wasn't on TV anymore, it made me so angry I'd stop watching. But you know what? In 2012, in our conversations, when I realized he was coming back to it and that they had opened doors and that you know, they were kind of going to try to heal a lot, you know, a lot of the anger that really came, I believe, from just a lot of, you know, I wish you would just like stay here and do what I'm asking of you. But, you know, Warrior was, you know, on principle was a very, you know, he had a code, and it was like, you couldn't just get him to do stuff by telling him there'll be fame and paying him. He walked away from millions of dollars to do what he thought was right. And the amazing thing for me was that for a good 13, 14 years, I was privy to conversations with him about a lot of this. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot from the man, and I to know that your childhood hero is watching what you do and is proud of it.
Yeah.
In terms of he's saying how proud he is, and he's telling you he's watching this, that, and the other, and you're discussing it. Like I know that there's a lot of people, I mean, in life that will never have that. So he gave me an incredible gift in terms of us being friends and the mentorship that he gave me. You know what I mean? It was really cool to be able to have that connection with him, you know?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about wrestling also. So, am I a big fan now? No.
Sure.
I wouldn't say maybe I would say I'm a casual fan. I'll look into it when I see something good is coming out. I thought Brock was awesome, right? I thought Brock was awesome. I like what The Rock is doing right now. I guess I'm on the outskirts, but I'm looking in. I catch it when I need to.
Okay,
you know?
Good. Keep up with it. So we've been at this for like almost half an hour now. So I'm gonna.
Wow, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get us closed out, but I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor because this is something I try to ask everybody I talk to do, and that's to help me prepare, say, a musical menu that I can air after, our chat has finished, that will include a couple of your songs as well as one song from somebody else that you feel would pair well, like, a good cheese pairs with wine to your music. So can you recommend like one song from one of your early albums that shows where a good example of where you started and like the perfect track off of your newest one, The Oblivion Call, that's the best example of where you guys are right now?
Okay, so let's go with Carry On off the first record.
Okay.
Carry On. And let's go with The Oblivion Call off of the new album.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You need another track off the new album?
No, that'll be good. The third song I'll ask you is something from somebody else that pairs well. Like if you like AnAkA, then it goes well with this band because this band influenced us, or just something that makes a good fit.
Okay, let's do this. Let's go with this. Let's go with Black Label Society.
Okay.
No More Tears.
Ah.
No More Tears. They did it. Well, Zach actually helped write that song, but it's almost like a cover that he did with his band. Black Label Society, No More Tears.
Okay. So pulling up the Ozzy version would be cheating. I need to go get the Black Label Society version.
Yeah, the Black Label Society one is just a lot greasier and meaner.
Nice.
It's really, really, powerful. There is a good part of our vibe in there.
Okay. So can you finish up by telling folks how you can be followed on social media for details and for your local army, where you might be performing next? I know you mentioned headlining, and now I forgot, was it the Gramercy?
To headline the historic Gramercy Theater on Saturday, July the 27th. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's being planned out right now, but those are the two main shows we got that we're doing. So that's going to be really incredible, and a lot more to come in terms of working out where we're going to be playing. It's been great. The focus has really been on the Oblivion Call and getting it out to you guys. We're very proud of it. People are really taking to it. It was a challenging record to record literally through COVID and all that. But again, AnAkA does not waver. We push through, and you would not imagine some of the challenges that happened, but we persevered as we always do. Today we stand tall, man.
Yeah.
With our new record, The Oblivion Call, you got make sure that you play it loud and proud because it means a lot to us. Where can you find us? So on social media, you can find us on Facebook. Just look for us at AnAkA Metal. Instagram, the same thing. AnAkA Metal. You could find us on YouTube under AnAkA Music. And really, the best place to go find, us and just like all things AnAkA is just go to www.anaka.com. .net. I appreciate you spinning the records, and you got shows out there. You want AnAkA to come out to, into Indiana? Let us know. Chicago, let us know. As long as it makes sense, we're there, man. It'll be great.
I will drop your name every time I get the chance.
Tremendous.
All right. Thanks so much for your time.
One day meeting you, man.
Yeah, you too.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye. We're just past the bottom of the hour here on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. I am still Ken the Metal Professor. This was an extra 35 minutes of bonus, mostly metal, where I talked with Peter Pallis on the phone many days ago. And you just heard that conversation. I asked him to recommend a couple of AnAkA tracks and then something from a different band that fits very well with it. He requested Carry On from AnAkA's first album, Down Devil's Road. Oblivion Call, the title track off of their brand new album, which is what he is promoting. And also the Black Label Society version of No More Tears. So, courtesy of Peter Pallis's recommendation, here come those three tunes.
Patience is gone, living's like always, dying tired of the song. Got to find ways to carry lost deep inside. Heart's been forever broken, nowhere to hide. Got to find ways to carry on, and I know gray skies are cold and my name thunder this churn. I've got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Ride at this road, seems the horizon's fading. Where do I go? Got to find ways to carry on, just go down. Now that the face inside here, but I don't know. I'm losing my path, goes on and on I go. A twisting of thorns inside me, sharing my soul. I've got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Ooh, oh, man, if you can, I'm losing again. Losing my faith and carry on to the bone. Won't bend these knees to show them what they have done. I see no need to carry on and on. And on I forever go, when will it stop? I've got to find faith and carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Got to find ways to carry on. Patience is gone. Living's like always, dying tired of the song. Got to find ways to carry come.